Greetings all, Devious Monkey here. Okay, today was an interesting day. It didn't rain until right before my wife came home from work, and then it just started pouring. So you're gonna hear that slapping against the windows as usual. Today, I got up and I'm continuing with the gummy bear experiment. I don't have the shits, but it took till the 5th day on the last batch, and I'm only on the 2nd day. So far so good, but these gummy bears don't make me feel as good as the other ones did. And those ones were like almost immediate. Like I said, 10 minutes after eating that first gummy bear, I felt good. Pain went away. I mean, I'm not horrible right now, but I'm not as good as I was before. And my friend and I were talking about this earlier. I feel blurry, if that makes sense. Meaning, like if I turn, I feel like I'm turning in slow motion and there's a blur following me until I stop and the blur catches up. So not as good as the other ones. I've only taken 2. Let's see how this works out. If this isn't better and I don't get the shits, I'll just finish them out and then we'll have to see what that Charlotte's Web capsule does. And hopefully that does something. Otherwise I'm done pissing away all my money on all this crap and I'll just deal with the pain. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that I did today, I went to Home Depot, like I said I was going to see about redoing all of this. I gotta be out of my mind. Well, we all know that I am. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take off all the paneling. I've decided that. All the paneling goes, and then I'll have this like red border around. I'm gonna get rid of the red, and I'm going to replace it with this. And this is dark cobalt blue. So I will paint the entire wall this color, and there's a method to the madness of that. So instead of having this weird border cut around where I gotta be careful and all that kind of shit, now I can just tape off all around it and paint the entire wall that dark cobalt blue. Then I decided that I'm going to use the square, they're called a lot of different things, but like the foam exercise mat that you can piece together, you know, for putting on the floor when you're exercising, dumbbells, shit like that. You put them in the garage when you're, you know, working in your garage all the time, whatever. I'm going to put those in a staggered pattern all the way across. So it would take 5 across, 3 down to fill everywhere almost equal to where I've got all this tile right now. But I thought, you know what? I'll just do every other one across and then, you know, every other one down. So that comes out to 8 tiles. And that way there'll be the black matte spot and then the blue, the dark cobalt blue paint in between all of those. And then that should make an interesting pattern. Also, the reason I decided to go with the foam is that it will act as sound tile, because this room has a lot of furniture, the walls, all of the electronic equipment on that side of the office side rather than the studio side. So there's a lot of reverb and sound gets echoed instead of being absorbed. So if I put the sound tile up there, or it isn't sound tile, but it's gonna act like sound tile and it isn't as expensive as sound tile, then that should be good. The other thing about today was that I have been eating too much food and I'm feeling the effects of that, not necessarily in weight gain, but just feeling like shit because like I'm just constantly eating too much. So I made up my mind last night that today wasn't necessarily going to be a liquid day, but it was just going to be a better choice, a healthier choice of how I did it. When I got up this morning, rather than having like a gigantic omelet and toast and all that stuff, or you know, the oatmeal with the fruit, which isn't bad, I decided that I would kind of do a liquid breakfast. So I have like this protein stuff and the green powder and a bunch of different juices and things that I put together and blend, you know, sort of shake into a drink. That was breakfast. I forgot to make coffee. So I didn't have coffee until I realized I hadn't had coffee, and I realized it when I had the excruciating caffeine withdrawal headache. But it was a perfect time for me to try my new Aeropress. So I looked up because it comes with shit directions, and I looked up a couple of videos on a couple of websites and I read, you know, the different ways that people use the Aeropress and how they make it and how much bean they use and so on and so forth. Came up with a recipe that I could use. I made myself a cup of coffee. It was delicious. You know, I used the same old Starbucks French roast that we usually have, and I used to tell my wife I couldn't drink it when she made it because it always gave me a stomach ache because she likes sludge. I mean, she loves it dark and oily and all that shit. And I've gotten used to it over the years so that now everything tastes like water if I'm not drinking that. And I thought, okay, let me see if this actually does what they say it's supposed to do, which is like take out the oils, you know, because of the paper filter and blah, 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 and all the things. And it actually, I was like, oh, okay, I definitely taste the difference. That's delicious. Of course, then I Americanized it because I poured more water into it and put some half and half. But that's just because I wanted to sort of draw it out while I was doing work this afternoon. Did a bunch of work, and from these storms and everything, I've lost power several times today. So I've been very careful about what I'm doing because I don't want to lose work or have anything get screwed up. Then my wife came home and I was telling her about the Aeropress, and she asked me to make her one. So I made one for her. And then I decided that after that, oh, by the way, she did like it. She did taste the difference, and she can see, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. It's a little bit involved right now because I don't know what I'm doing. So, you know, having to measure out beans and measure out water and you know, yeah. Eventually I'm going to be able to do it by sight and get it done and figure it all out so it's done faster, because I'm not going to take that much time to make a fucking cup of coffee. I also got my quote back from KEH. I sent my Panasonic gear into them, and I was disappointed in that they gave me a considerable amount less than what my original quote was. And that's based on the fact that I marked everything down as like the highest possible rating that it could be, you know, wishful thinking. So when they came back at me, you know, it was like $360 less than the original quote. Disappointed as I am, I accepted the offer and they're sending me a check. That's it for today. I'm hungry and I need to figure out what to do for dinner. And I just sort of wanted to give you an idea of what's going on in the melon here, about what I've done all day and how I'm getting things accomplished to finish this office up. And then hopefully that'll last me a while. I mean, this one lasted a year, so I can't complain. All right, that's it. Enough rambling. Thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe, and all that shit. And remember, kids, forward and up.